Okay, so the next thing that I need to do in order to get started with Angular 2 is I need to download this Visual Studio Code. It's a tool that makes it easier to work with this type of code, JavaScript code, rather than Visual Studio, because we don't have to create the whole project and run it. It just kind of runs without being project bound in a sense, so it's kind of like its own world. So it's kind of something different, so I would like to try it rather than using the Visual Studio for this example. So I'll go ahead and download it. So it keeps kicking me off this, I don't know why, when I'm installing things, but here we go. Next, I accept the agreement. Next, this is good. So once I install it, actually automatically pops this getting started window, which I think it's a good idea to check out. So here's the my Visual Studio Code welcome screen, and there's this warn, git not found, install or configure it using the git path settings. So what I would like to do is I would like to go ahead and we should also go ahead and download git at this point and set it up. Latest source release 2.15.1, and of course it cut me out again, but I'm up and running again, and after I installed the Visual Studio Code, it gave me the warning that git was not installed. So I went ahead and installed it, restarted this Visual Studio Code, and now it's giving me that it was looking for the git and the C program files, git cmd, git exe, and it found the version that I installed 2.15.1, and now I will try to use this git in order to bring this code, the quick start Angular, from the GitHub to the project. Okay, so instead of copying like I did initially, I wanted to go ahead and use this cloning with the GitHub. So basically I came here to this terminal, which is inside of the Visual Studio Code, and changed the drive down to C, and I ran this command, git clone. Then I copied the link of the project and I named it my project, and it says that everything went well. So let me see where it actually put this project now. Okay, so basically it puts it in the root of the directory that you specify here. In my case it was a C drive. So here's my proj, and now I can go ahead and open this very simply with the code, Visual Studio Code. So when I click on this, it says you have not yet opened a folder. So this works by the folders. Open folder, then we go to our C, find my proj, and then select folder. And basically this opens my project now in Visual Studio Code. So there are some ways that we can create our own repository and start committing, but I need to actually take a little introduction to this using this git. But for now, what I'll do, I'll go ahead and continue with running the npm installing the packages. So the next thing to do here is to go ahead and install these packages. They're basically kept in this package.json file, and we run this command npm install, and this should install our packages. So it says added 493 packages in 61 seconds, so it took about a minute. And let's see where these packages are. And we also notice once we install these packages, Node modules folder now has all these things in it. And now to go ahead and start our code, we do something called npm start. So this is like in Visual Studio would be like a start without debugging, I guess, or Control F5. npm start. And what this did basically is popped up this Hello Angular screen. So I was actually able to start the Hello Angular application. So these were the steps of how to do it. So what actually happens behind the scenes, we run the TypeScript compiler, which converts this code to JavaScript, launches this our browser window, and gives us the Hello Angular. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through the code. And one confusing thing for me was this light server that keeps running in the background. I'm not sure how to stop it, or anything I hit here doesn't do anything. So, but anyway, the next step is going to be walking through some of these things in the code that we have here, where they are, where the things are, etc.